Am I negative about the Philippines? Sometimes I talk about the negative aspects, but it's not because I'm negative. It's more a case of I've seen people do the same things over and over and over again, and it gets very tiring. Because there's a pattern of mistakes, and there's a lot of expats that have been out there longer than me. I was out there for 6 years, but you can spot an expat at the airport, and you already know within 5 minutes what's going to happen to them. I'm not there to fix it, I'm not there to get too involved, but I just like sharing a bit of knowledge and experience rather than people just assuming that everything's great, because things go wrong all the time. But personally, I went to the Philippines in 2007. It's always been home since the day I got there. I'm happily married. I've been married to April since 2007. We didn't rush into it. We'd actually been talking to each other for over 9 months before I even went out to the Philippines. I've never been desperate for cash. I've always been able to make money, and I have a skill set which makes it easy for me to work even for a few months of the year, because if I work for 3 months, I don't have to work for another year. And that's something that a lot of people may not be aware of, is the fact is I do have access to a good income. I mean, at the moment, I'm driving a brand new Mercedes. It's my company car. I'm running an £80 million contract, and generally what I do is what I do. I'm not negative, but because of my background as an engineer, we often look at things in a different way, because we're looking at how things can be improved, how things can be done better, faster, whatever, and it's just naturally how I think. It's not that I'm negative, but a lot of time I've taken a lot of the stuff that I do offline these days. It's sort of, our life's moving on out of the Philippines now and going to be moving on to Spain. So, for example, I haven't really talked about the fact that we've just installed more windows at our new building. Now, there's a positive aspect there. We bought a building for 1.2 million pesos in cash. We spent probably getting on another million in renovations. Building's worth over 3 million. We built another office on the side of the building. We bought at least 40 plus computers, built the call center up from scratch. The reason I'm bringing this stuff up, because this is all the positive stuff that I get up to. The fact is, Filipino workers, they're great. Where I find things fall down is a lot of the training aspects of things. It's sometimes difficult to get people to understand fully what you want, but that's part of life these days. Everything's gone outsourced, so it's one of those areas that needs investment, because I know a lot of the call centers poach off each other and they don't really push on the training aspects. That's why the accent training seems to be getting on near non-existent these days. Also tied in with the fact that the way the industry's going, there's a lot of sub-agents, and by the time it gets down to the call center, there's no budget left. And this is the point. I'm saying I wrote an article about the fact is that the call center industry eating itself, because there's that many people wanting money out of it and no investment. It's actually damaging its own industry, because if you've got people who do it dirt cheap, it's why you find in the West your phone never stops ringing for salespeople, and then you start getting software being developed that blocks all these calls, and it kills itself. The industry ends up killing itself. And the same way, all the etiquette and everything goes out the window because it's been outsourced multi-tier. So the client isn't really aware even where the call centre is at the end, and the 5 people between him and the call centre, because all saying, "Oh, we all own it," and wink, wink, and it's a multi-tiered sales system. But that's the call centre industry. It's not. I'm not being negative. For me, it's worrying because it's damaging itself, and it should be trying to improve itself rather than concentrate just on the money and not on the quality. At the same time, like I was saying, the call center agents are getting poached backwards and forwards. So say one was offering 12,000, this one offers 16, they go there, the next one offers 19, and that's what's going on. They're going backwards and forwards, and okay, the standard of living is going up, but eventually the bubble's bursting. Worrying times when the Philippines wants to rely on it so much, when it's not actually investing in it as much as it should do, and getting that quality to be to an international standard. But going back to 2007, we rented a small 1-bedroom house. We were happily married. Went to the UK backwards and forwards. Worked in the UK, come back. Made money online. Generally, I made enough money online that I really didn't need to hop in and out the country. But we developed our standard of living. I mean, our initial budgets were about 15,000 pesos a month. In fact, we've been as low as 5,000 pesos a month. Not because we were broke, but we just didn't need to spend money. But then again, I'm quite happy with things like chicken adobo, rice with chicken. You know, I'm not too fussed and enjoy life. And the same when we got cash. I like eating good stuff. I like enjoying restaurants. So nothing really negative there. Moving through, we tried different businesses. We had a piggery, which it made its money back, but it wasn't really worth the time that was invested in it. I was looking at it for a sideline business for my in-laws. So I know some people have made money out of it, but for me, the figures, they weren't profitable enough to make it worthwhile. Where it was worth doing is if you're doing it for your own supply, because you can guarantee good quality food. Same with chickens and everything else. If you raise everything yourself, you know what you're buying, because the only thing you're relying on is food stocks for the animal feeds. So we did a bit of the old farming bit. We did aquaponics, and it's still running now. That we set up a few years ago. What else have we done? We did the internet cafe. It made money, not a lot, but those same computers was what we built the call center up from. And that piggery eventually became the internet cafe, because we rebuilt the old piggery and converted it into a 1-bedroom apartment. Then we moved from the house we rented. Our first place was only like 3,500 pesos a month rent. Then we built another apartment on top of that one. We then developed the store. We then built an office above the store. We then bought the building in the adjoining lot, which is currently now being developed into 3 apartments on the ground floor. And we're still umming and ahhing what we're going to do with the upstairs. That's where we're putting windows in at the moment. But as you can see, we have a lot of positive stuff going on. It's just generally I don't talk about it because I don't know if anybody's really interested. But yeah, I mean, I like the Philippines. See, the thing is, it's like construction. I come from construction background. I like to be able to do it. In the UK, there's so much red tape. I like to just have my land and do what I want with it. Philippines is very much like that. I like riding my motorbike. I don't like wearing a helmet, so sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. If I'm going in the city, I do in case I get fined. We have a big yellow 4x4, which I like driving. I don't find traffic too bad in the Philippines, because I drive chilled out, to be honest. I'm a motorbike. I weave between the traffic. I'm one of those motorbike guys that come shooting up the between the lanes and stuff. I drive like the locals, so I'm just as bad. On the 4x4, we just take our time. You got a big air conditioned 4x4. You got your music and everything. You're not really in the. Nothing is ever a rush. You know, I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on things. Is they make a problem. Immigration, we make a day of it. You know, if I'm not, used to. Sorry, I'm now a resident, so it only takes me like 5 minutes once a year. But we generally aren't really annoyed or irritated by stuff. We just get on with it. And I noticed that coming back to the UK, a lot of people seem so angry with things. And even some of the comments I've received, it's like so stereotypical of the angry expat. It's not even funny. It's the same abusive, simple-minded comments that are being made in an abusive way. Wake up, do something interesting. If you don't want my videos, don't watch them. Nobody's forcing you. But I would say just be positive. Okay, I share some negative stuff, but it's like I was talking to somebody earlier. I think in 5 years I've known 18 people die in the Philippines. That's horrendous. That's more than any of the rest of my lifetime in a 5 year period, and a lot of it is stuff that's preventable. Even going back further, where there's even been an expat that was a British expat. His wife was at the what do you call it? His wife was at the mall and was a guarantor on a motorbike for somebody else. The guard at the mall had seen it. Then the next thing is, the guard was driving home the one day and actually seen the guy that had the motorbike shoot her husband in the street. This is near where I live. It turned out that the guy with the motorbike was that girl's allegedly ex-boyfriend, probably still a very active boyfriend, that was coerced or whatever into murdering the woman's husband. Obviously there's money involved, but that is the sort of thing I'm talking about, and that has never happened to me. I don't know about you at any other time in your life, but these sort of things are the sort of things that go on a regular basis in the Philippines, and people go, oh, well, we don't really talk about it, it's negative. I'm just saying, okay, I'm not saying you have to act on it, I'm saying just be aware of it, because it's not always something so obvious. But I think being polite and not arguing with people and stuff is generally a good rule of thumb, because I get through life with it with no problems. But I know people that actually get themselves in a lot of trouble by doing things they shouldn't be doing, and to people they shouldn't be doing it. So I'm just saying, for me, I like the Philippines. I like being there when I am there. Okay, we get the same noisy music from the neighbours, the roosters and whatever, but you get used to most of it. It's like the music, generally I can handle the odd couple of days of loud music. It only starts to get to me after the second week. But that's life.